Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to keep this short. And honestly, a strong story does not need a lot of words. Sometimes the strongest stories you can finish in very, very few words, if you will. So let's start with some numbers. Number 10 is pretty interesting, but it's not the only number to look at. It's impressive enough that this is a conference that has been around for 10 years. But for those of us who have been in this conference from the very beginning, there are some other numbers that I'd like to share with you. And these numbers will tell you a strong story on their own. So when we first started, we really had about a dozen speakers. Today, those speakers have grown to over 100. Those few dozen speakers back 10 years ago were delivering just about 20, 25 talks. Today, those talks are over 100. And most importantly, when we first started 10 years ago, we had about 300 people in no larger room than this one. And obviously, that number has grown very significantly, and that's the most important number. Today, that number is over 1,500. So these are, of course, interesting numbers, but the stories behind these numbers are multi-layered and worth understanding. So the real human story behind this is that 10 years ago, this was a backwater in terms of the Java technology world. Those of us that were invited to this conference, the first edition of this conference, we took some faith in it because we believed that this region of the world needed development. And whether the brand was there or whether the attendees were there, we came here to this conference to speak and to start something new and important in this part of the world. Today, you don't need that anymore. You don't need guys like me. You don't need guys like Andrew. Today, you have world-class speakers coming to this place as a destination that they want to be. And that's a very strong statement. That's a statement that means that Bulgaria as a country started from almost no notable Java community to a Java community that the best and the brightest in the Java world and in the technology world want to come here and speak to you. That's something. The other very interesting human element of the story that I really want to point out, and is not told enough and not told strongly enough, is that this entire thing for past 10 years and even today is really managed by a small number of women. And that is a very unique story in the world and certainly in the Java world. That is unheard of. Most of us struggle with participation of women in Java and in technology, and it's just fascinating. It's so special that here you have a world-class conference that was driven by just a few women. That you should clap on. So that's all I have to say. I just want to say, cherish this special moment, and this is a special moment. I am very proud to be part of this moment, and you should also be part of this moment. And you should really finish with one final clap, a heartfelt one, for all the passion and dedication that this small team of women grew this conference and the things that they are doing for you as individuals and you as a country and you as a people. So please, thank you very much, and please give a hearty thank you.